New media, as everyone knows, is totally in its infancy right now. Facebook has been around for 5 years and has 200 million users, which sounds like a lot, but isn't when you think about 3 billion users of text messaging. Twitter has been around for over 2 years, but again, phenomenal growth just in the last 6 months. As is usual, most innovation is coming from commercial places. Um, and I got to thinking the other day about what if organizations that work for the social good, nonprofits, actually used the social piece of social media and really innovated around that. So instead of using Twitter and Facebook to gather fans and use it as a way of sort of getting the message out or trying to get advocacy going, or more often than even those fundraising, what if they actually put core elements of what they did? What if nonprofits put core elements of their mission and their operations into the social media stream and innovated around that? I think you get some very interesting things. We're already beginning to see some beginnings. For instance, there's an organization called slaverymap.org, which is using crowdsourcing uh, to create a map of evidence of human trafficking and slavery and bondage, not only in the U.S. but globally. Um, but there are 47 million, I believe that's the number, slaves on the planet today. Um, Even if that number is not exactly right, it might be 48. There are more slaves on the globe than there have been at any point in humanity. This is a difficult and an often hidden problem. And so, what if we brought the hive mind to bear on finding evidence and documenting this? So that's one idea. Second idea that's related is, Craigslist has become basically, as many local sheriffs would say, has basically become a red light district and has enabled, this is connected to human trafficking, has enabled prostitution in many, many, many communities that did not see it in the past. And what if the tables were turned and crowdsourcing were used to identify uh, problem places, problem areas, um, and made it possible for social good organizations to go in there and uh, to work to alleviate and eradicate some of those issues. Sunlight Foundation used crowdsourcing and a network of people performing a task in an interesting way. Um, they took the budget bill when it was in draft form and asked people to take a page of it and just write down in an Excel sheet that was shared where the money is going. Which is something that a team would take. It would be staying up all night for days to do, but this could be done in pieces by a number of people, and that way we could see where the money was going. Um, so, those are just a few examples and they really just revolve around crowdsourcing. But, there are innovations with social media that I don't even know what they would look like. And it all revolves around this idea of treating the people, the users of social media, as really as not as eyeballs to be gathered or checkbooks to be opened, um, or phone calls to be made to advocacy organizations a la change.gov. But um, really, what if they were actually partners? What if this network of people who can dip in and dip out of social media at their will, which is how people use it, what if they were partners? You could see organizations that are huge right now, possibly, potentially shrinking, and still getting the economies of scale that they get from being large. So think about, a large organization like the United Way, which does wonderful things, but also has with it the problems that any large organization does. Silos and bureaucracy, and it's difficult to be nimble, and yet these large organizations also need the economies of scale. What if you could get economies of scale and yet have a small organization that was small enough to be manageable? Um, Social media, if it's tapped into correctly in innovative ways that again I don't even know about, um, it, I think it holds some promise there.